I was cleaning my crafting space the other day, and I couldn't help but start making something. Some popsicle sticks, coconut fiber, and a little dried moss later, and I had this. Simple, sweet, satisfying. When I showed my friend Jimmy what I was working on, he said putting it under glass made it feel like captured magic. I really loved that description. Let's go see if we can capture some more magic in a bottle. No, magic in a bottle. I can't play that song. Also, these aren't bottles. It's called a cloche. Tried to say that without sounding pretentious. The first mini diorama I made just kind of evolved from making some scale wood, so let's start there. These are popsicle sticks, and the grain and texture is all wrong for wood in scale. So I like to use a green onion slicer to score a bunch of lines in the surface, keeping the tool mostly straight and being sure that the rounded ends are clipped off. After that, I follow up with a brass wire brush. This helps to deepen those score marks and remove the fuzz that comes from slicing them. I wanted narrower boards, and they split in half easily enough. A quick spritz of isopropyl alcohol and some sepia and yellow inks for some color variation. And I had some pretty convincing looking wood planks. So we still need to decide something to put in this little diorama, and I went on My Mini Factory and found this really awesome zombie arm breaking out of the ground. My first thought was to have it breaking out of the ground, but I changed my mind and I'm going to have it breaking out of an old hardwood floor. And I thought it would be awesome to use this tea light to have light coming up through the cracks. There was a problem though, the tea light was very large compared to the cork base, so I had to do some modification. But once it was all back together and still working, it was about the right size. I used the bottom to trace out the space that needed to be removed from the cork. That's actually a pretty good shaped ring of cork. I'll save that for later. I had this spoon carving knife laying around for no apparent reason, and that helped me carve out a nice hollow space. This is looking good, but I need to clip the base of the print to fit. Using the jeweler's saw was 100 times better than trying to clip that resin. That's going to be a cool effect. Mixed up a nice brown, reddish black color, just as a base coat. I figured this would look good in the shadows, even if it was visible later. I hit the wood with a tan dry brush, and also put some aluminum ducting tape under the LED to reflect it up. And then all that was left to do was break up some boards around this arm. And paint it up to look like a little zombie hand. I wanted to add a little bit of a bluish green hue to the mix, so I dry brushed a very small amount of this smoky green. And here's a video of the hand with the light coming from underneath. And a shot with the cloche on top. So let's get another one of these things made. Now the last time I was using some spray insulation foam. Since you can't use it again, you have to use the whole bottle at once. I sprayed the excess onto a sheet of plastic, and the foam itself didn't stick to the plastic, so I ended up getting these really cool bubbly textures. I stuck them in a bag and I've been saving them for some kind of alien terrain. I also printed out these free STL files of a little Cthulhu squid looking guy. I'll link those in the description below as well. I thought it would be nice to make him floating above the diorama. I thought he would look good in purple, so I made a dark blue going to purple base coat. And by adding white and beige a little by little, I was able to build up some highlights on the ridges and the tentacles. Now, to get a little bit more variation in the hue, I made some very watered down mixtures of magenta purple, basically washing or glazing everything except for the very top of this model. And I mixed in a bit of Viridian to go a bit darker in blue, and I used that to wash some lower parts of the model. And the very last bit, I added a drop of black to my mix with some more water to make the very lower parts of the squid the darkest. Now for the eyes, I used a metallic silver and Tamiya clear red gloss. This is the same technique I use for my taillights on my cars. So coating the whole base in some black paint and Mod Podge, and kind of stippling on this wet sandy color. I then took some blue and streaked it across the base. I wanted it to look like the ocean floor. I also took some dry moss and painted one bright orange red. This will act like an anemone. This might be kind of tacky, but I took a little metal star sticker and I glued it on as a little starfish. I dusted on some pigments. Luckily I had some blue and tan that matched the paint colors I used. And using a small length of clear styrene tubing, I was able to float the squid on the top there. This was a really fun project making mini dioramas. They don't have to be spooky, but you know, with Halloween coming up, this is a nice little project to do. If you're interested in more of my builds, go check out some other videos or subscribe to the channel for more. You can also now support me on Patreon. I would really appreciate the support to help me do more cool builds like this. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next build.